Fuck.
I hope it turns out just like the way it smells.
It's hard to describe how the Mayhaw tastes because there's no other like it. It's got a little crabapple taste.
Hi, Steve.
It's got a little grape or a little berry to it, you know.
Let's go dump this in the barrel.
Ooh, it's been a long day. Just got in from work. Couldn't wait to get live.
I didn't smell anything quite that sweet. It's kind of like first time you really got a good whiff of mass. When I stick my head over the barrel, good mass, it draws me back to my
Hi, everybody. Meredith, I sent you your message.
I love making sound.
Alive ingredients. Start breaking all the sugars down and making them ferment.
Thanks for the share, Steve. So good evening, everybody. Tonight is MK Ultra Series Part 2. This is Operation Bluebird. We're going to be doing our deep diving. Hey, Roxy. I couldn't wait to get out that shower. I got into a nice hot shower. It was like rain and hail today. So, MK Ultra. Part 2. We're going into Operation Bluebird, the deliberate creation of multiple personality by psychiatrists. Okay? So, let's do this. Let's dig right into this. Bluebird is the cryptonym for CIA mind control program that ran from 1951 to 1953. Other mind control programs include Artichoke, MK Ultra, and MK Search. And the CIA has been creating Manchurian candidates for operational use since the Second World War. What's up, CJ? The fact is described repeatedly by G.H. Estabrooks and CIA documents on Bluebird and Artichoke obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. Thank you for the shares, folks. By research at the Medical School Library, ordering out-of-print books, the request filled through the Freedom of Information Act, Dr. Ross, who's been researching this, has been doing a compelling documentation. So let's go on to this. Whew. Here we go. Hold on. Bluebird and Artichoke. This is a kind of like a mix, but we're going to go into Artichoke tomorrow. Bluebird was approved by Roscoe Hillenkoetter, director of the CIA, in April 20th of 1950. In August 1951, the project was renamed Artichoke. The Korean War began in June of 1950. The CIA already had mind control programs in operation prior to the Korean War. Therefore, such programs were not a defensive reaction. Hi, Sandra. It has not ended. Absolutely not. Defensive reaction activities to the North Koreans, Russians, or Communist Chinese during the Korean War, as claimed by CIA career officer Edward Hunter. Bluebird and Artichoke included a great deal of work on the creation of amnesia, hypnotic couriers, and Manchurian candidates. The Manchurian candidate is generally regarded as fiction. However, Artichoke documents prove that hypnotic couriers functioned effectively in real-life simulations conducted by the CIA in the early 1950s. The degree of which such individuals were used in actual operations is still classified. Physicians were an integral part of the Artichoke team that conducted interrogations on the U.S. soil. These interrogations were in part designed to detect mind control agents and other agencies and governments. The documents established that Manchurian candidate-related methods were part of the CIA counterintelligence work in the 1950s. The basic premise of the book Manchurian Candidate is that a group of American POWs in the Korean War was brainwashed while crossing through the Manchuria of freedom. They arrived back in the U.S. amnesic for periods of brainwashing, and one of them has even programmed to be an assassin. His target is a candidate for President of the United States. His handlers at home control him by hypnotically implanting a trigger or particulate playing card. The memorandum dated on July 1953 from the Chief Biochemistry and Pharmacology Branch, Medicine Division, OSI, Office of Scientific Intelligence, to the Chief Technical Branch, Special Operations, include a paragraph summarizing discussions about recently returned Korean War POWs who have been brainwashed. Following this whiteout, this commented on the very interesting angle and that interrogations of the individuals who have come out of North Korea across the Soviet Union to freedom recently had apparently had a blank period or a period of disorientation while passing through a special zone in Manchuria. The soldiers pointed out that this had occurred in old individuals in the party after they had their first full meal and their first coffee on the way to freedom. The soldiers pointed out that the soldiers were attempting to secure further confirmatory facts in this matter since drugging was indicated. In another memo dated 17th of September of 1953, the scientific advisor of the Scientific Intelligence states detailed and valuable information was obtained by soldiers on Big Switch as a result of interrogations of POWs on the return voyage from Korea. The Big Switch was the code name for a prisoner exchange program during the Korean War. Repatriated American prisoners of war released in Big Switch were interviewed by American psychologists during Robert Lifton. Lifton writes, I arrived in Hong Kong in late January of 1954, just a few months before. I had taken part in the psychiatric evaluation of repatriated American prisoners of war during the exchange operations in Korea known as Big Switch. I had accompanied a group of these men to the troop ship back to the United States. It appears the American psychiatrists, including or known to Robert Lifton, Louis Joylon, West, and Margaret Singer, must have been knowledgeable about the Chinese Manchurian Candidate program by 1953. So the scientists already knew that the Koreans were taking our soldiers, and they were literally using hypnosis and other techniques like torture, drugs, and wiping out their brains. Okay, hey Chris. Okay, and they knew about this, that this is what they were doing as they were crossing from Russia through Manchuria into Korea to get to freedom. So, of course, these people were apprehended, reprogrammed, and what they did was they made them into sleeper agents. And they used the trigger to trigger their attributes that they programmed them with. Of course, like they were saying in this Freedom of Information Act, I'm going to be showing I'm going to actually be sharing these documents that I have here. They're declassified. So you're going to see a lot of things that are blacked out still that are not declassified. So those things that are not declassified, these are original documents that were loaded up to the net. I got a hold of them. I downloaded them, and I'm going to share them with you on Facebook after this live feed. It says here, according to my definition, the Manchurian Candidate is an experimentally created dissociative identity disorder that meets the following 4 criteria. It was created deliberately. A new identity is implanted. Amnesia barriers are created, used in simulated or actual operations. Bluebird and artichoke were administered in a compartmented fashion. The details of the program were kept secret even under personnel with the CIA. When asked why LSD research was done on the artichoke was hidden from the CIA committee in charge of artichoke, Sidney Gottlieb, why do I know this name? Sidney Gottlieb, 1977, Chief Medical Staff, Technical Service Division of the CIA responded, I imagine the only reason would have been concern for broadcasting awareness of its existence. The creation of the Manchurian Candidates by CIA was probably not subject to the usual chain of operational command. Such breaches in the chain of command are inherent structural risk of compartmented nature of intelligence agencies. Again, doing these tests and running these tests, running these tests also showed that they were working outside of the security parameters of the U.S. government, all taking risks. So they were making these people already on the MK Ultra. They were making they were already programming people on the MK Ultra, with the German Nazi scientists after World War II. And now we're seeing the second phase of this, which is Bluebird and artichoke. So in artichoke, the Bluebird was more about hypnosis, and artichoke is more about using drug-induced experiments to see how it fucks with the brain, basically. Okay, so here we go. So for security reasons, the CIA operations, including internal counterintelligence investigations, are routinely kept secret from other divisions of the CIA. So one hand does not know what the other one is doing. Amazing. All right. Although effective intelligence work could not be carried out without compartmentation, the structure makes it easier for CIA officers in charge of mind control to contract with unethical doctors, which were the Nazi German scientists. Loss of central control occurred in the CIA's Operation Chaos, and probably in Bluebird and Artichoke. Operation Chaos was CIA's program designed to collect information on foreign influence on student and civil unrest in the United States. It was created by the director of CIA in 1967 and ran until 1974. Chaos developed files on 7,200 American citizens, and the files include the mention of total 300,000 named U.S. citizens and organizations, all which were entered into a computerized index. Talk about Rockefeller in 1975. In other instances, senior administrators with the CIA participated in plausible denial of other disinformation and cover-up strategies concerning CIA operations run on U.S. soil. Like activities of the Artichoke team within the United States, such operations had to be kept secret because the CIA was prohibited by its charter from carrying out operations in the United States. Again. In 1952, the CIA began to survey mail between the U.S. and the Soviet Union at a New York postal facility. You see that 34th Street? If you've ever been to New York, there's a big building on 34th Street right across the street from Madison Square Garden. That is the Central U.S. Postal Service. They use that to, if you're filing for the last day for taxes, that is the central place where you have to file for, and it's the only one that's open on midnight on tax day. This is the place they're talking about. Okay, because this is the only one that operates like this. Basic things, right? So, the program approved by the director of the CIA and at least 3 Postmaster Generals Summerfield, Day, and Blount, as well as by Attorney General Mitchell from 1958 to 1973. The FBI received 57,000 pieces of mail from the CIA in this program. In the final year of the operation, out of 4,350,000 pieces of mail between the U.S. and Soviet Union, the CIA examined outside of 2.3 million pieces, photographed 33,000, and opened up 8,700. So they intercepted all this mail, and only a fraction of it got looked at. Small mail intercept operations were run in San Francisco from 69 to 71, Hawaii from 54 to 55, and New Orleans in 57. The CIA strategy for dealing with leaks about the program is described in a February 1st, 62 memo sent from the Deputy Chief of Counterintelligence. Bluebird and Artichoke documents available through the Freedom of Information Act, such as documents, are heavily redacted. A great deal of text has been whited out, and other documents still entirely classified. These are the documents I got. Nevertheless, the available documents prove that Artichoke operations involving physicians were carried out on U.S. soil at least until the mid-1950s. And remember, in 73, they destroyed anything that was on MK Ultra. Just remember that. So, let me move on to my other talking points. Woo. Hypnotism appears to have been used in some cases by the Soviets as possibilities of lowering resistance against telling the truth, inducing specific action or behavior in the subject. In certain cases, it will be possible for a skilled Russian operator to bring about condition, yet leave the subject with no specific recollection of having been interrogated. Under condition B, it will be possible to brief an American other prisoner of person, subsequently dispatch him on a mission, and successfully debrief him upon return without his recollection of briefing or debriefing. Basically, what they did with the hypnosis thing, what they were doing was they were making soldiers, and they were saying that the Soviets were making soldiers, using most likely regular citizens, making them soldiers, get the information that they need, and hypnotize them to the point where they don't even remember. That's like getting rid of a witness without having to kill them. So, all these methods were also employed by experiments conducted in Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Ultra, MK Research, MK Naomi, and other programs. Artichoke operations involved detailed systematic creation of specific amnesia barriers to identities, of hypnotic implanted codes and triggers. Ever seen American Dad? You guys watch American Dad, right? Like, you know, it's on Cartoon Network. If you watch it, there's an episode where Stan Smith takes his daughter. No, it's like if you watch American Dad, they talk about it. He actually takes his daughter, and he had her like he had a program when she was younger, and he was getting ready to she was getting ready to go somewhere, and he said Haley, this orgasm is killing me, and she turned into like the soldier right away. That's exactly what this is. It's worse than Men in Black. This shit is crazy. In all of these cases, oh wait, Artichoke documented dated January 7, 1953, with a section heading outlined Special H cases, described the experimental creation of multiple personality in two 19-year-old girls by the CIA. An extended series of hypnotic sessions beginning on January 9, 1952. H is used as shorthand for hypnotic, hypnotized, or hypnotized in these documents. What? Oh my goodness, Ooh, sorry about that. Are you kidding me right now? There's a back scratcher right there. There you go. They took two 19-year-olds and put them under Saran, accused of killing RFK. I think they fried his brain. I think so too. I think they did this to, they use them for cover-ups. They use them for their benefit, which is a horrible thing. I really have to say. So, under untitled Artichoke document describes a series of cases which following called an analogous case number 3 is most compelling. A CIA security office employee was hypnotized and given a false identity. She defended it hotly, denying her true name and rationalizing with conviction the possession of identity cards made out to her real self. Later, having had the false identity erased by suggestion, she was asked if she ever heard of the name she had been defending as her own 5 minutes before. She thought, shook her head, and said, "That's a pursuiter I've never heard of." Apparently, she had a true amnesia for the entire episode. Jones learned to the creation of new identities and the detection of foreign agents. Look at this. They're creating new identities. They're actually creating new identities, hypnotizing people, assuming a new pseudo, and then they're coming out and they're unhypnotized them and they don't know nothing about it. How many people out here right now are living like that? How many soldiers are like that right now? How many people that they've done this to? And this is in the 50s. Mind you, they're still using these techniques to the day. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me now. Look at ISIS. Okay? Look at these lone wolf attacks. Do they act anywhere near normal? Look at Timothy, like Meredith was saying. Look at Timothy McVeigh. Okay? We don't know which country has a hand on them. But they come out and they start killing people. I've never seen something like that. That's the door. Already? We don't know who they really are. And if you look at them in videos, you see they have no soul. They look like they're in a trance. And we label them they're out here assuming an identity they probably don't even know about. Ask them about their histories. It all sounds totally programmed. Totally programmed. Imagine that. So basically what we're seeing here is Operation Bluebird. Was the fact that what they did here, look at this, hold on. Look at all these examples. I'm going to share this to Facebook as well about Operation Bluebird and Artichoke. They talk about a particular operation was mentioned in general terms approximately 30 days ago on an informal basis, but no significant details were given at this time. While the technique that was considering for us in this case was not known to the writer believes the approach will be made through the standard narco-hypnosis technique, reconditioning and reorientating an individual in such a manner, in the opinions of the writer. Then they white out this person's name, Hypnotic Experimentation. The document entitled Hypnotic Experimentation Research of February 10th of 1954 describes the creation of Manchurian candidate assassins. Miss Blank was then instructed, having previously expressed a fear of firearms in any fashion, that she would use every method at her disposal to awaken Miss Blank, now in a deep hypnotic sleep. And failing in this, she would pick up a pistol nearby and fire it at so-and-so. She was instructed that her rage would be so great that she would not hesitate to kill for failing to awaken. Miss carried out these suggestions to the letter, including firing the unloaded pneumatic pistol, the gun and then proceeding to fall into a deep sleep. After proper suggestions were made, both were awakened and expressed complete amnesia for the entire sequence. Miss, whose name is not mentioned, was again handed the gun when she refused in an awakened state to pick up or accept from the operator. She expressed absolute denial of foregoing the sequence that happened. Holy shit. In another experiment entitled SINH experimentation, 2 female subjects took part. These are the 19-year-olds that they're doing. These are the 2 19-year-old girls that they're experimenting on. Okay? Which SI means special interrogations. Both subjects performed perfectly while fully amnesiac for the exercise. They were using this method on 2 19-year-old women. Okay? To see if they can uphold interrogations when they were captured. Trigger points. They were talking about how they turned them into killers. Ooh. Hypnosis was not the mind control doctor's only method of creation for controlled amnesia. However, drugs, magnetic fields, sound waves, sleep deprivation, solitary confinement. Doesn't this sound like all like torture to you? That they do in these prisons, that they talk about the torture methods, waterboarding, and all this other stuff. Can you imagine what they've been doing at Guantanamo Bay? What they've been doing at these lockup facilities? Can you imagine what they've been doing at this time? It says here the solitary confinement and many other methods were studied on the bluebird and artichoke. The amnesia was often tested through memorization tasks of various kinds, and experiments were conducted to amplify subjects and their barriers, as well as being potential couriers and infiltration barriers. So they were even looking to make these people, spies. And they will assume another identity, give them a whole new identity, like a Canadian national going to France looking for information on the Yakuza tribe. Holy crap, man. They could enter a room or building, memorize materials quickly, leave the building, and then be amnesic for the entire episode. The memorized material could then be retrieved by the handler using a previously implemented code or signal without the amnesia being disrupted. The research and its application were both offensive and defensive, as evidenced by the following untitled and dated passage from the documents. For instance, Metrazole, which has been very useful in shock therapy, is no longer popular because, for one thing, it produces feeling of overwhelming terror and doom prior to the convulsion. But terror, anxiety, worry could be valuable for many purposes for our point of view. We have some information, not in detail, but not confirmed, that the Soviets and their satellites have used drugs which work along these lines. Therefore, it should be studied both for our use offensively and defensively, and to find antidotes or counteracting agencies. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They talk about amnesia occurs right before the convulsions. That means that they were testing. What they were doing was pushing the body. They were pushing these bodies Hey, Fabian, Anthony, can you lower your voice, please? They were actually pushing people's mental state to the limits, to the point of terror or fear, without using shock therapy. So they were inducing it through drugs. And it's not just the Soviets. It was us as well, because we're copycatting off of the science. Remember, the Nazi German scientists that are here are in the same field that the Russians. And I mean, they pushed it beyond the limits. They were looking to see how far they can go without the body shutting down. And they took these 2 girls and they put them through states of hypnosis. They used other soldiers they were using other soldiers in the study and the military application of hypnotism. The hypnotic messenger is a proposal for a grant for $10,000 to create hypnotic messengers out of 20 selected highly hypnotized military personnel. That means you got screened. If you were hypnotizable, you were sent on this mission, and they got a $10,000 grant for that. This is where they were getting their money. Each individual is conditioned against revealing any information to an enemy, even though subjected to hypnosis or drugging. If preferable, he may be conditioned to give false information rather than no information. So if these soldiers would get captured by the offense. They had them hypnotized to where, let's say they put him in a cell and they tied his hand behind his back and they started punching him in his face and he started feeling pain. Basically what they're saying is this soldier is already will be triggered into, or where the subconscious, because hypnotism comes from the deep end of your subconscious. So what happens is the subconscious triggers. And what happens is when they start asking questions, they will in turn give false information instead, and they'll probably get killed anyway, but it'll be a false lead. So this was a defensive mechanism that they were using in soldiers, okay, in this program. And I'm still wondering how many soldiers now, to date, how many soldiers now are under this state of hypnotism or triggered? I mean, I look at my uncle who's been through Iraq, Kuwait, Panama, Japan. He's been all over the place, and he retired out of the Pentagon, my uncle Chico. And I think about him and he suffers from PTSD. Okay? Well, how do I not know that this PTSD is not a reaction from what they've been doing to him in the army? And how does he not know that this has been done? You know what I'm saying? Woo! Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even fathom what they've been doing to our soldiers. Whew. I'm sorry. I had to listen to what else they did in 1951. Friday, 30th November of 51, the doctors explained that he felt that electric shock might be considerable interest to the artichoke type of work. He stated that the standard electric shock machine, which is the Raider, R-E-I-T-E-R, could be used in two ways. One setting of this machine produced a normal electric shock treatment, including convulsion, with amnesia after a number of treatments. He stated that using this machine as an electric shock device with convulsion treatment could guarantee amnesia for certain periods of time, and particularly he could guarantee amnesia for any knowledge of the use of the convulsive shock. Oh my God. He also stated that the other lower setting of the machine produced a different type of shock. He said that he could not explain it, but knew that when this lower current of shock was applied without convulsion, had the effect of making a man talk. He said, however, that the use of this type of shock was prohibited because it produced an individual excruciating pain, and he stated that there would be no question in his mind that the individual would be quite willing to give information if threatened with the use of this machine. He stated that this was a third-degree method, but undoubtedly would be effective. Oh my God. He stated that he never had the device applied to himself, but he had talked with many people who have been shocked in this manner, and stated that they complained that their whole head was on fire and it was much too painful a treatment for any medical practice. He stated that the only way it was ever used in connection with sedatives, and even then it was extremely painful. The writer asked whether or not in the groggy condition following the convulsion by the electric shock machine anyone had attempted to obtain hypnotic control over the patient. Since it occurred to the writer that it would be a good time to attempt to obtain hypnotic control. The doctor stated that to his knowledge it had never been done, but would make this attempt in the near future, and he would see whether or not this could be done. Oh my God. The electroshock used to produce amnesia was subsequently successfully demonstrated in a series of cases by Dr. Edwin Cameron at McGill, who received CIA money through MK Ultra Subproject 68 in 1957. Many discussions, literature reviews, experiments conducted on the bluebird and artichoke were followed up in MK Ultra and MK Search. The involvement of physicians, including psychiatrists in bluebird and artichoke, was extensive, systematic, and fundamental to the programs. The involvement included consultation, literature reviews, experimentation, direct participation in field operations. The full extent of this involvement is unknown because the names of the mind control doctors who built Manchurian candidates were redacted from the documents under the Freedom of Information Act, and because there are undoubtedly other documents which are still classified. What's up, Brad? All right. Oh my God. What has our government done in this time of days? And what are they continuously doing? I want a piece of calamari. What are you, crazy? Woo! Oh, that's good.
Baby!
What have they done? What if our government went into this sick, demented, twisted kind of thing where we have to take our soldiers, two 19-year-old girls, put them under a state of hypnosis, had one with an unloaded gun, right? And basically, on the unloaded gun, they're sitting in a room, and they said, when you wake from this sleep, you're gonna get up and you're gonna try to wake up that girl. And if she don't wake up, you're gonna pick up that gun and you're gonna use it. And guess what? When they snapped their fingers, she got up. She tried to wake the girl up, and when she saw she came in such a rage, she picked up the gun and she used it. And she said she was against guns. She feared for guns. I'm gonna share these documents. They're gonna be shared tonight. Yes, I had a couple pieces.
Can you go back?
Say what?
You want to do this here?
Yeah, right there. So anyway. All right, hold on. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Fabian, it's time to eat. Let's go. Let's go. It's creepy. They took these Nazi scientists out of Germany to do some sick, twisted shit. Literally. Yeah. I'm trying to break down a lot of stuff here. Ladies and gentlemen, our government is guilty of doing inhumane practices to our soldiers, to our American people. Sit over there. All for the name of war. What? What? No. All in the name of war. Nico, what's going on?
Yeah.
Our government did not care about the well-beings of our soldiers at that time. After World War II, they went on with this project into the Korean Wars in the 1950s. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And they're still doing it to this day. Look at Guantanamo Bay. Let's take a look at that. Absolutely. Conspiracy of silence. You still in shock after that? Where they were talking about the inhumane practices. What do you really think they were doing over there? Programming. Torturing people. Project Bluebird and Artichoke was all about torturing people and pushing them to the limit to see if they'll talk. And then programming them in case of another war that they'll go in and they'll give out false information. They were programming our people, our soldiers. I'm going to share the documents. I'm going to share the site too. There's a lot to read on it. I'm sorry, I can't resist fried calamari and pizza. They're doing it out there, folks. Thank you. They're doing it out there, folks. There is a lot underneath this stuff and what they've done to people just because of what? And they're only getting $10,000? I'm sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you take a look at a soldier, understand that you may not know what's really going on with them. You may not know what's going on. You may not know that this individual may have been under some type of duress, may have been in a state of hypnosis. What? No, there's a pizzeria around the corner. Look. La 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 la.
Yes.
I'm definitely not shocked.
I believe you to high school. Where are you? Are you at the same time?
This is crazy. Sex rings, mind control. We're fucking slaves, people. We're slaves. Oh my God. I can't believe this. They're using us. The elite are using us. You know, I was looking at it today. I'm saying to myself, every other country has sick leave, right? We have sick days. Okay? They have maternity leave. They treat their people like people. When you come down over here, like in New York, we just passed a law for 6 weeks of maternity leave. 6 weeks of maternity leave. Okay? In New York City. They're only giving us bits and pieces because people are waking up to the matter. Because if we didn't wake up to this matter, they wouldn't be giving us anything at all. Think about it.
This is me.
Yeah. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, I read a lot from this excerpt of MK Ultra Project Operation Bluebird and Artichoke. So what I'm gonna do is tomorrow we're gonna go into Mockingjay. I don't want to give you too much, and we're sitting here watching each other, and I'm just I'm bringing up all this stuff. I need you guys to process this because we're gonna have to go into another level. So it's gonna be part 3 tomorrow, and plus it took me about 2.5 hours to get home today.
Test Friday.
Huh?
Test Friday.
Oh. There ain't no test Friday. Shut up, Anthony. Anthony talking about there's gonna be a test on Friday. Everybody take the 0. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, MK Ultra. We're touching all this stuff now because I need you to get an understanding. Because when we get when we get to next week, we're really gonna get into real deep stuff about it. We're gonna be talking about.
You want pizza? All right.
We're gonna really be talking about. Get out them close, please. We're gonna be talking about the real stuff that they've been doing behind closed doors. Stuff that they've been, the government has been testing on people. We're gonna talk about biological drugs, chemical warfare that they've been doing on people, and how they've been testing it unwillingly, which is like the Zika spray and the Ebola, stuff like that in other countries because they know they can't do it here. We're gonna bring all that up because I can guarantee you my measly MTA paycheck. I can guarantee you one thing: it all ties together. It all ties together. So, I just wanted to let people know. Thank you for sharing this video. I'm gonna leave it at 45 minutes because I want you guys to, move on. There's a lot of other things out there on live stream today, and check it out, look at it. Once again, this is Latisha Dipaola from Politics and Stuff, reporting to you from Staten Island, New York, on the MK Ultra series. This has been the conclusion of part 2. Join in tomorrow at 8 p.m. for part 3, and we're gonna go into Project Mockingjay. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you on the stoop later on after I'm done eating pizza.